And welcome to the second week. I'm just gonna quickly wait a couple of minutes. I'm just gonna fix this a little bit. I'm just gonna wait a couple minutes, let people pop on. As you pop on, say hello so I know who's cooking along with me. Stacey, cool, hey. So yeah, as you pop on, just say hello so I can see who's cooking with us. I think there's quite a few people joining tonight. Nikki, hello. Bart and Kim, hello. So, I hope you guys have all your ingredients together. And we'll see how people can kind of get on. We kind of wait a couple of minutes when we first start out just to make sure that everyone gets on, that they join so they're not behind in the recipe. So we'll start cooking in 5 minutes. If you, well, not 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. We're all hungry, we want dinner. If you have any questions about the recipe, shoot them through. If you want to know if there's any substitutes you can do, shoot them through. If just anything, any questions, shoot them through. Sorry, I'm just going to reply to someone who's asking where I'm about to go live. Yes. Oh, she's found it. It's okay. Cool. Laura's here. There's some people joining. Brett's joining. But have you made sure that Caleb's cooking with you? Can I feel the carrot? How is everybody's lockdown going? Is anyone, how is everyone feeling about going down to level 2? Personally, I'm quite excited. It means I can go back to work and cooking for some more people again, which is really, really exciting. I've really missed that aspect of it. I've loved lockdown, apart from some financial stress. It's been a really good reminder for me just to kind of slow down and it's okay to watch Netflix sometimes, you know. That's, if anybody knows me, my life is kind of really busy and I do flourish off being busy, but sometimes it gets too much. So yeah, how are you guys feeling about lockdown? Well, not, we haven't really been in lockdown, but coming back to level 2, it kind of means that a lot of people are going to be heading back to work in public places. Yeah, how are you all feeling? Caleb's in the kitchen, that's good. Laura's here. Laura, are you going to cook or are you just watching? Nikki, it might mean I get to see you soon if we go back to level 2. Can't wait to see Hunter and give him a cuddle. We'll see if Jessie can get on. There's just 2 more people I know that are coming that are like prepared, so we'll wait for them and we'll see if they can come on. Let's see where she is. Okay, cool. I'm cooking Thomas on it. I can't give you a big smile. Oh, he's grown so much. Okay, cool. So everybody's on. We've got the 12 people that I think were coming. So 6:04, let's start cooking. The first things first, if you've printed out the recipe, that's great. The second step says to prepare the Israel couscous and put water to the boil. So whereas you're going to put the water, to speed up this process, we're going to put the water to the boil now. So when you're cooking Israeli couscous, it's not like rice where you use the absorption method. You want to just boil a buttload of water that kind of goes this much higher than what your couscous would be in the pot. And then once it's boiling, we're going to give it a really good salt and then we'll put the couscous in. So everybody get your pot ready. So as you can see here, we've got a big pot on and it's filled up 3/4 of the way. I'm going to put the lid on for this heating purpose and I'm going to put the element on high. I feel like it's really low today, but that's okay. The next step is we're going to start making our falafel. So if you've got a food processor, that's great. If you have a NutriBullet, you're going to have to do this in like small increments, but that's absolutely fine as well. Just follow along and prepare the food as you can. So the first thing that we're going to put into the NutriBullet is your chickpeas. So I cook chickpeas instead of using cans, and this is more than 1 cup. I'm just going to be making hummus as well. So if you're using a can, get your chickpeas and drain them and rinse them real good and run them under cold water and like massage them just to get any of the excess liquid off the chickpeas. If you've cooked them, that's absolutely great. If you've cooked all your chickpeas, see these like skins, try and see if you can get as many skins out as you can. I mean, I don't really bother with it because my digestion's okay. But if you do struggle with digestion, and especially if you don't have many legumes in your diet, then this is a great way to slowly introduce legumes into your diet without feeling any digestional discomfort. So if you want to, go ahead and do that, and if you don't, that's absolutely fine. I don't stress about it too much, only if they're like clearly visibly like just sitting there. So 1 cup of chickpeas as a count to 1 can. It's just that if I'm cooking chickpeas, I'm going to be cooking a lot because we're going to make hummus. That's just the way it is. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to do half a cup of basil and half a cup of parsley. And I got quite a lot of questions about this in terms of can you use dried instead of fresh. I'm just going to put this up because you can't see my face. And you totally can. We're just going to use it. If you do have that option, you're just going to use a little bit more spinach just for the texture of it all. So if you're using fresh like I am, then use your half a cup measurements. If you're using dried, then you can use half a tablespoon of each basil and parsley. So if you're using fresh, because everything's going in the food processor, it does the job for you. So you don't actually have to chop it up, but you don't want any of the stems in there because they don't break up that well, and that makes them quite rough, the texture. So these have already been pre-washed and dried. I'm going to use a mixture of this is flat leaf parsley and Italian parsley. Jyotika, you'll be proud of me. When I first got to back from Japan, I went and lived with my auntie, and in her garden she had lots of funny random labels. Like there was Italian parsley, and I was like, I swear that's parsley, but the label had kale, and I didn't know well enough yet that to make my own, to actually like trust my decision in saying that was parsley. And she definitely spent probably half the day laughing at me because of that. So here is the parsley, half a cup, and then we're going to do half a cup of basil. So I'm just going to get this off the thing. And just by the way, my outside basil died, so I'm in the process of growing inside basil, but it's not ready yet. So I just went and got one of these things from New World. They're not great, but they're good if you need them. And so if you can see, let's see, I'll show you each camera. Can you see these little tentacles that are growing up from the bottom? So that's the next really strong basil, those little tentacles. So if you want this basil to grow and last actually like a little bit longer than it would, then make sure you always pull from the bottom run as much as you can. If you pull from the top, sorry, have I got that right? Pull from the bottom, and so that the things can keep growing up, if that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, I marked that up. I didn't make it sound very simple, but you can definitely do that. So I'm just going to quickly get this ready. And in my opinion, like the recipe says a quarter cup, but basil is just so delicious that, I mean, I could put in this whole plant and I would be all about it. But let's stick to the recipe. Cool. So we've got our basil. Put that in there. And then we're going to get our Moroccan seasoning and Cajun I'm going to do a tablespoon of both. So I only have a half tablespoon. My 1 tablespoon disappeared. Don't know where, probably at a client's house. So I'm just going to do 2. If you like spice in your house, then you can totally add some chili flakes here. If you like that. We're then going to put in our garlic. And if you, once again, if you don't have fresh garlic, you can definitely use dry garlic. Oh, hey Sky, how are you doing? Gina, hello. So my garlic is really fresh from the garden, so I can just simply peel off the skin. But if that's not happening for you, then another way you can do it is if you get your knife and you put it down flat, and then you get the palm of your hand. Can everybody see this? And then you just smash the garlic. The garlic will kind of flatten, and then the skin peels off really, really simply. So we're going to have 3 cloves of garlic. My cloves are quite small, so I'm going to put in 4. Sorry, I should be doing this in front of you. So see here, this piece of garlic, the skin's pain in the bum to get off, so I just smash it. And once I smash it, the skin just peels off really simply. I apologize if you can't see because I'm talking to the other screen. So yeah, so here, garlic can't get off. And I just smash it and it just comes off really simply. Put that in there, and then we're going to have 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which equals half a lemon. I have this real organic lemon juice, which is great. It was gifted to me, so we've just been using this, which has been lovely. So I'm just going to get my tablespoon and I'm going to do 2 of these. Nearly forgot the spinach, so we're going to put half a cup of spinach in there. But remember, if you put in dried basil and parsley, then please put in 1 cup to 1.5 cups, depending on how much spinach you like. But it definitely gives it the color and the consistency. Definitely do at least 1 cup. Cool. So here we have everything in here. Oh, some salt. Just a pinch of salt. Some olive oil. So you can either use your extra virgin olive oil, or we've got a chili oil going on down in this house that love it. So you could also use a chili oil. You could use vegetable oil, grapeseed oil, whatever you like. It doesn't have to matter. So I'm just going to put a drizzle in there. It calls for 1 tablespoon. Just that much. Now that is everything apart from our chickpea flour. So if you don't have chickpea flour, that's absolutely fine. You can use a normal flour. We're just going to use less quantities purely because of the moisture content of the flour. Don't put that in yet. Wait till after. So put your lid on. If you're using a NutriBullet, then I want you to blend and pulse your chickpeas. Take them out. Then do it to your vegetables with your olive oil, take it out, and then slowly start binding it together in a big bowl. So I'm going to come over here so I don't make you go deaf. You might have to move some stuff around to get the moisture going. But once it's moving, it will go. And if it's really struggling, put some more olive oil in. Oh. Why is it not working? The blade wasn't on properly. Should have checked that first, shouldn't I? That is okay. Alright, well, let's just try and squeeze this back on here. There we go. stand by. Just having some technical difficulties. Okay. So, if your blender isn't blending, check your blade. That could be the problem. So, as you can see here, here is your mixture. Scrape it down from the sides. And it's still quite grainy, so I'm going to blend it one more time to make sure all those chickpeas are broken down. If your water is boiling for your Israeli couscous, then just take the lid off it and we'll deal with it soon. Cool. So as you can see here, it's quite fine now. Hopefully you guys can see that. If you have any questions so far, you're probably a step ahead of me purely because my food processor wasn't working. So now I'm going to take out the blade. I'm going to just put that in the sink and deal with that later. And if you're using normal flour, so I know someone's using, Nikki, you're using rice flour. Jessie, you're using, I think, normal flour. So if you're doing that, then I want you to start with 3 tablespoons of flour. So if you're using any flour other than chickpea flour, just start with 3 tablespoons and we'll get that stirring through. I'm going to go straight for the chickpea flour. So the chickpea flour is great because 1, it adds protein, and 2, it just has the texture of the falafel so that it absorbs quite of the nutrient, absorbs quite of the liquid, but without drying it out. Whereas if you use the normal flour, you risk drying out the falafel too much. It is already quite a dry recipe. So I'm just going to stir that in. And let me know if anyone is struggling or has any questions about the texture of the mixture. Smells so good. And if you're going, how you're going with the other flour. Hey Maxine, could you use avocado oil? Yes, but you could definitely use avocado oil. That's absolutely fine. Avocado oil is great. It doesn't have too high of a smoking point either. So once we cook it, it doesn't kill it all. Cool. So you'll see here, this is the texture. It's quite like thick and dense, but it's still kind of sticky to touch. So like, for example, I like, can you hear that? It's like it, I don't even know how to describe that. It's just, it's sticky to your hands, but it kind of pulls away and it stays together. Like if you push it between your fingers, it doesn't form holes and crumble away. It just keeps mixturing. So I'm going to leave that to the side now. The more time that you leave it to rest is actually great. It lets the flavors develop, lets the lemon infuse through and the garlic. So I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. Right. So now we're going to cook the, I'm just going to put the lid on here and leave that to the side. So now we're going to cook the Israeli couscous. So we have 400 grams here, which is about, 1 cup, which is about 50 grams per person, which is the serving size. You can rinse your couscous or you can just leave it out. Like I said in my post, you're more than welcome to use normal couscous if you like. However, that is the absorption method. Within the water, for the pot of water, you're more than welcome to use a stock. You can put in some Moroccan seasoning, some Cajun seasoning. You could put in some cranberries and raisins and coconut. You can make it really Moroccan inspired, and you can totally do that tonight if you like. If anyone wants kind of quantities for that, then write in the comments and I can let you know. But I did want to keep the recipe quite simple for people because the more ingredients and then the more steps kind of confuses some people. So you're going to heavily salt the water. Give it a few good crashes, twists, whatever you want to call it. And all we're going to do is we're going to put the couscous into the water at a rolling boil. And we're going to set the timer for about 8 minutes is what it takes. We're going to give it a good stir. And just leave that to be. Set your timer or you can wait for me. Awesome. So the next step is we're going to cook our falafel. So I'm going to put it on this one here. So normally if I was making this recipe, I would make the falafel the day before, or I would make the falafel, say in the morning. Hey Lily, how are you doing? And so then it just gives it time to sit. So we're going to put some olive oil into the pan, or avocado oil, or grapeseed oil, or whatever oil you like, as long as it's not flaxseed oil. You can't cook with flaxseed oil. And ideally not like canola oil, but that's okay. Everyone makes their own choices. We're all adults. And if you have an ice cream scooper thing, they are legit for making falafel balls, because you can, it's kind of like the mushroom lentil burger patty last week, how we used the quarter cup. It is so good. It just molds them, it sticks them together. I don't have one of those, so I'm just using a big tablespoon, like a soup spoon. And I'm just gonna get one little mixture like this, spread the oil around, and dump it in the pan. So you can kind of form them however way you like, if you want them to be pretty, if you don't want them to be pretty. You can also make 4 patties if you want patties, that's absolutely fine. You're cooking, it's like, cooking is an outlet, you know, like it allows people to, I guess some people find cooking really, really stressful, right? Like some people, they follow the recipe to the T and the recipe doesn't work and it's frustrating and annoying. Like, that's not what cooking should be. Cooking should be exploring and developing and trialing new things. So don't be afraid to get it wrong. You can normally still eat it. Once you have these basic things set up and these basic knowledge, it's really easy. And hopefully one day you'll find cooking relaxing rather than stressful. That's the goal in the end anyways. So I only got 8 or 9 little falafels today. Don't know what happened there, but I hope you got 12. Or you got 4, or you got however many you like. This recipe is awesome for meal prepping. So I would normally make it like a triple or a quadruple double batch of these falafels, and you can freeze them uncooked. So what I do is I get an oven tray out and I put parchment paper on it, or baking paper, whatever you want to call it, and I just roll them into little balls, put them into the freezer, and then the next morning I put them into Snaplock bags, and then they're frozen, ready to go whenever you need them, and you just put them in the pan for 10 minutes and they're cooked. So dinner on the go. Any recipe that uses a food processor, it's more dishes, but overall it's a win because it's quick and simple. Just going to take just a quick drink. Sorry. Yum. Okay, next step, we're going to make our beetroot salad. 2 carrots, give them a peel. Try and see if you can get your carrots not in the bin, and you can put them in a compost. If you don't know how to compost, it's quite simple. You don't need much land, you don't need many crazy things. You just need to have a little bit of patience and practice. Cool, so I guess you guys, I wonder if you'll see this. So, no, it's gone. That's okay. So my couscous is rolling, boiling, and you'll see the couscous like bubbling and kind of doing a little, what do they call it, like figure eight almost. So that's kind of what you want for your couscous. So this is my beetroot. To me, this is like a little bit of a small beetroot, but say if you're feeding like 2 adults and 2 kids and they don't really like beetroot, definitely just do one of these. I'm going to do 2 just because I'm feeding 4 adults. And this is an easy way to bulk out dinner. So give them a peel. Be careful not to cut yourself. All these veggies, by the way, have been washed before we cooked them. I mean, before we started cooking them. And then, if you didn't know, sorry, my light's just having a bit of a party. If you didn't know, see this little bum on the bottom? You can actually peel those off. So, but you need quite a good peeler. Can you see? It's gone. So that's one way of having less waste in the kitchen, because you don't have to chop off like half the end. Cool, that's ready. And then we have just the other beetroot. If you're past me and you've peeled all your beetroot already, then you can start grating your beetroot. If you have a food processor that has the like grating attachment, good for you, that's awesome. Chuck them, give your food processor a quick rinse and chuck them in there, and that's going to save you like good 5 minutes and grating, because let's be honest, like not everyone likes grating. So this one is a bit tougher, but you can still get it. Cool. Now, also with the red beetroot, please be careful. Don't get it on your clothes. You'll see I'm wearing black tonight. It was chosen for a reason. Beetroot gets everywhere. My grater here, and we're just going to grate. I grate on the big setting. If you want to, you can grate on the smaller setting, but it's entirely up to you. Hey Jax! Cooking looks good, Olivia. Well, once the Trans-Tasman border opens, Jax, you can be here and you can have my cooking again. Whoop. Sorry, I just need to focus for a second. And once you get down to this part of the carrot, like, honestly, it's not worth chopping your finger off. So don't stress if you can't get it any lower. Just, you know, eat this part, or put it aside and eat it later, or do what you want with it. But yeah, don't grate your finger off. That's not fun. We've all been there. So depending if your couscous is old, like you brought it a while ago and it's been sitting in your pantry for a while and you completely forgot it was there until you went to go cook this recipe, it might take a little bit longer to cook, okay? So pre-warning, my timer went off if you noticed, so I'm just gonna get the couscous, get a little bit out, and literally just eat it. You want it a little bit al dente, but you definitely want it to be soft. So to me, this is a little bit hard still. I'm going to give it... oh, Nikki, you made the choke. I'm going to give it another minute. So if you're using beetroot that is... Okay, hold on, Nikki, let me reply. Nikki, that's awesome. I'm so excited you're using that beetroot. That makes me so happy. Yeah, if your couscous is old, it's probably going to take a little bit longer to cook, okay? So definitely just watch that. You might need to check it a little bit longer after us, but that's okay. Okay, so once again, carrots down here. I'm not going to cut my fingers off. Now, this is where kind of multitasking is going on, so you got to be careful. Get your little falafels and start flipping them. So you'll notice who has made, raise your hand in the air if you've made falafel and it's fallen to pieces in the pan. I know there's a few of you out there because it took me, I don't know how many trials it took me to make this recipe. Just the consistency was always a struggle, you know. It was either really grainy or it fell apart or you couldn't flip them in the pan, and it really bugs me when you can't flip them in the pan. So yeah, the flour definitely makes a difference, and if you want to go and buy chickpea flour, then normally you can get them from any sort of whole food natural place. Like I know in Christchurch you can get it from Gulgi's by South City. In Wanaka you can get them from Soul Food, which is awesome. They've been open during lockdown, so you can go and support local businesses. I don't actually know anywhere else, to be completely honest. So yeah, now you go, I'm going to empty out my grater into my bowl here. And if you're ever using your grater and you want to get this dirty off it, you turn it upside down and you wipe it. And that's how you don't get cut, okay? Please don't go this way and go down. It's sharp. So that's my timer for my second thing. I'm going to use the same fork because, you know, COVID. And we're all in the same house. So I'm just going to check that again. Yeah, so that's way better now with that extra minute. So we're just going to turn that off. I'm going to get a container for my chickpeas. So here, and drain it down the sink. Make sure, you guys can't see this. Okay. So as you can see here, even after shaking it for a while, there's still water coming out. So give it a really good shake if you can. That's really hot. Get your fork through it and get any excess liquid out that you can. Can you see the liquid coming from the bottom? That's going to ensure that it doesn't stick later on and get all stodgy and gross. So give your pot a rinse out to get rid of all that starchy water. And then put the couscous back in the pot. Drizzle over your olive oil, your avocado oil, your chili oil, whatever you want. We're having chili tonight because flavour and everyone in this house loves chili. And last week I broke the chili spice pot. So we're feeling a little bit sad and chili left out. Give it a good stir through to make sure the oil is separated. And put that to the side, not back on the element that was cooking it. Give your falafels a flick. How is everybody going? Does anyone need some assistance? Is anything going a bit funky? Is anyone's falafels falling apart? I'm actually going to turn my falafel pan off because I've just done the final flip and they're looking pretty cooked. So let's get the final part of this dressing done and the salad so we can eat some dinner. So we're grating the beetroot now. Can you guys hear me while I'm talking and grating? Someone put up a comment, because I'll talk to you. I'll talk your ear off. I love the smell of beetroot. It's so earthy. And, whoa, see, I talk and I get distracted. Sorry. Beetroot is great as well, and I find it quite earthy. And when I first started eating it, I found it quite dirty, to be honest, and I didn't really like the taste of it. But I found having it in the salad with the coconut and the cranberries and the dressing, it made it quite sweet rather than really earthy. So this is a great recipe to make and have in the fridge ready for your meal prep as a hands-on salad, so that you don't have to, so that you can start enjoying beetroot rather than avoiding it like the plague. How is everybody doing? Hi Adam, hi Lily. Oh, I'm reaching for Lily. Hi Meg. Dinner's nearly ready, Meg. It's okay, didn't fall on the ground. Okay, for the sake of tonight, that's enough beetroot. So put that into your salad bowl. If you want to, you can totally like drain off your beetroot with a tea towel to get rid of the excess liquid, but personally I quite enjoy that. So give it a really good stir through. Cool, and you can see the colours there. It's just so beautiful, and it's an awesome way to introduce new vegetables to your kids, because you can make it either a rainbow, or you can choose to tell them to pick out whatever colour they like. You can tell them to give some magical powers, whatever you please. So the next thing we need is half an onion. So I'm just going to cut this in half. Take off the nub end, I guess. Leave the flowery end. And then I'm just going to cut. So it has like little waves, but it's not falling apart at this end. Then you slice it through the middle, and then you just really nicely dice. Please watch your fingers. We don't need any accidents. Cool. Put that into the salad. And then you're going to put in your, what are we going to put in? Cranberries and coconut. So sultanas also go really well in this recipe. If you don't have cranberries, that's totally fine. We're going to use half a cup, that's not half a cup of cranberries and half a cup of coconut. So I'm just going to, because my little half a cup doesn't fit in there, I'm just going to put them in there. And the awesome thing about this, if you have this salad just sitting in your fridge for a couple of days, the cranberries actually swell up and absorb some of the liquid from the beetroot, and they become like little pops of flavour. They're so good. Here's my coconut. I'm just going to put that in there. And give it a really good stir. I know, Stacey, Meg said that, she's like, I'm going to watch from the bedroom so I know where you're at. And I said, well, you can't watch from the lounge because it might echo. Okay. Cool, so that's the salad. That's what it looks like. if you want to, so in the summer we would normally join this with avocados and things, but for our fats, because there's not many fats in this meal, if you want to, you can totally put sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds into the salad, and that can be your fat content for the salad. Now we're going to really quickly make the dressing. So 1/4 cup of basil leaves. So once again, I'm just going to quickly get some basil. This dressing is best with fresh basil. If you're using dried basil, that's okay. I was meant to tell you at the start of the cooking to soak them in olive oil, and I definitely forgot that, so I apologize. But if you're using dried basil, that's fine. Just put it into the NutriBullet now with your olive oil, and we'll just use a bit of extra spinach. I do apologize, I was meant to tell you. So next time if you make this recipe and you if you make this recipe and you don't have fresh basil, that's like because of winter, you know, that's absolutely fine. Just soak your basil in your olive oil when the first time you start cooking. So in here I've got my basil. I'm going to have 1/4 cup of olive oil or your avocado oil. For the dressing, I would definitely use either olive oil, avocado oil, or you could use flaxseed oil. But I definitely don't recommend using like grapeseed or anything like that. It just is I guess the leftover taste on your mouth wouldn't be that great. But once again, that's totally at your discretion. That's just my recommendation. So I'm just trying to get the lid off the olive oil. So you can use 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup, depending on how you like your dressings. If you like them quite oily, put in a 1/4 cup, put in a 1/2 cup. If you don't like them as oily, put in a 1/2 cup. We're going to put lemon juice in here, 1 teaspoon. So that's just a quick squeeze of a lemon, or your bottled lemon if you like me, and a bit of salt. Cool, put that in, put your lid on, chuck that on the NutriBullet. So as you can see, there's still some basil leaves full in there. That's fine. You can do that, or you can keep bending it for longer. If you're using dried basil, put some spinach in there. Maybe just a handful, not much. Cool. So now we assemble. If you want to, you can totally pour this dressing over the beetroot salad and you can mix it in. That's entirely up to you. Some people don't like that, some people do. Some people like to add it on the day that they're going to eat it. Whatever they want to do, it's up to you. Just, it's trial and error really. So now let's plate. Wow, this is a messy station. So I'm going to show you, I've got 3 different bowls here. Jake's not eating tonight because he doesn't feel so well. So we're going to get some spinach. Spinach is a great, really low calorie, high dense food. So also full of heaps of nutrients and macronutrients and micros. So we have spinach with every meal because it bulks it out, keeps you feeling full. It's full of fibre. Fibre is your gut's best friend. So we're just going to put spinach in each bowl. Cool. Then we're going to put our couscous. So it's about 1/2 cup per person. Give it a good fork first to break it up if it's got together. So that's like, just like kind of like quinoa. Get your 1/2 cup, give it a shake off, and just plonk that in the middle and spread it out. If you have a bigger appetite, use more. If you have a smaller appetite, use less. Then we're going to put our beetroot salad. So I'm just going to use it in handfuls. So, sorry, I'll show you. Can you see here? I get a fork and I just get fork and a handful, and I place that on top. Once again, super low calorie, high nutrients, high, really dense food, keeps you feeling full for a while. And then we have our falafels. So we just put them on top. Cool. I'm just going to quickly wash my hands. Then I give a quick drizzle of lemon juice. I just squirt it around. Whoa, we lost a falafel. Those cheeky falafels. Squirt it around. Quick pinch of salt just to bring all the flavors together. And then you get your beautiful dressing. And as you can see, it's not an oily dressing. It is oily, sorry, that's a lie. It is oily, but it's quite thick. It doesn't taste like you're just drinking straight oil. So you get a spoon and you just drizzle it over. Have much or little as you please. You're also more than welcome to just let the people who are eating it do it. And then for final touches, just because we love to be quite fancy in this house. Oh, yeah. Get scissors and some Italian parsley or a normal parsley, whatever you please. And you just chop it over. Making sure you don't get the stalks, because who wants to eat a stalk? And voila! Dinner! Does anyone have any questions? Is anyone behind, ahead? Does anyone need a little bit of help? This dinner, honestly, it's got everything you need. You've got your carbs, your proteins, your fats. If you put some avocado with it, or you can put your, you got quite a bit of olive oil in there, so that's your fats as well. You can always sprinkle over some pumpkin seeds if you like, if you're looking for a higher fat diet. And you've got your fiber. Fiber is an essential nutrient to life. It's honestly, gut health, fiber is king. So if you make this, please post it to your stories or send me a photo. I love seeing your creations. It makes me really, really excited. Next week, we're recreating a Kiwi classic that has honestly gone past the test of times. We're having, what are we having? We're having sausage rolls. So sausage rolls and a green salad. If you are on my mailing list, then you will get this email at 7 o'clock. So in 10 minutes. And if you are not on the mailing list, then head to my website www.balancemeatnz.com, and there's a little subscribe button to your bottom right. And if there's anything else you need to know, feel free to shoot me a question. I'm quite an open book. I love teaching you guys how to cook, and yeah, it just brings me lots of joy. So thank you so much for joining in. Now it's time to eat. Grabs up, guys, come and get it. Hungry now. Huh? Cool. Okay, signing off if there's no questions. See you next week.